Press start podcast.
Can you hear me? Like in the podcast list, I don't know if it was like the yeah. All right, bet. So yeah, that sucks.
Welcome back to the only podcast where you have to look good because they can't sound good because you're
Yeah, so
muted.
hopefully you can
The
read my
Press Start
lips the entire
Podcast.
time. Yeah. So
This
yeah,
one's not going to YouTube, I guess.
probably not.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I can cut it off like here and get to at least our predictions and what we have to say about the rest of the PlayStation State of Play. Which
So
we'll,
clip the whole mute part. Clip
Yeah.
the whole muted part. Throw that on TikTok. That's what we need, honestly. Because they're gonna be like, "What did they say?" And I guess we'll find out next week,
yeah.
or they won't, depending on how OBS is picking everything up.
It's so crazy. I tested it right before we went live, and everything was picking up copacetic, and just stopped working. I guess.
Yeah. This is
Oh, yeah.
great. Love
Technology is
that.
great, but let's move along here. Continue along the PlayStation State of Play with another game that was a really big head scratcher. I don't know if anybody's really interested in this one, but we have Infinity Nikki. This is an open world RPG where you basically just change out outfits and you dress this girl up the whole time.
My
Anybody
man,
excited?
I saw the single best comment on Reddit for this one. When I saw the video, somebody goes, "Yo, Bloodborne 2 looking pretty fucking fly. Can't wait to be a princess."
Yeah, it was definitely like, what the fuck was going on with this game?
Oh, it definitely is. It's one of those things where you're like, Japan.
Yeah, pretty much.
One word.
Next game that we got to saw was probably like one that has potential to be a good game. It's just it didn't show well. I don't think was Where Winds Meet. This is the first time we really saw like any kind of like more maybe gameplay, but more cinematic to it because it was originally announced at Gamescom only opening night live in 2023, so just last year. This is like a martial arts adventure game, and not really much to go on. It's just another cinematic that we got to see. Could be good, could not be good. Only time will tell. I just feel like we were at this part of the show. We were in like such a rut of like, what are we even seeing? Like, what's the purpose of you showing me this stuff? But here we are with another one. It's called Ballad of Antara. Is a high fidelity free to play action RPG releasing next year. This is a brand new IP from Tipsworks Studio. It says that in the PlayStation blog, the studio head wrote that we'll strive to achieve the highest fidelity and will be free to play. Okay, cool. But didn't really look exciting. Didn't get to see any gameplay. Just another cinematic, and it's just like this doesn't really do anything for video games. Like I understand, like obviously in movies, right? When you see a trailer, that's what you're going to get. But in video games, like cinematics don't really show you what you're going to be playing, and we deal with that a lot. Like there's a lot of times, Roger, like, but we didn't see any gameplay, and I'm like, yeah, but that trailer looked great, and I just we do have to understand that it's gameplay, it's a cinematic. How many? Oh, Roger, we're talking about one of the games that we played together a while ago, The Ascent, right? The Ascent looked fucking phenomenal in its cinematics. When it got to the gameplay, the top down and the bullshit that we went through, what the fuck were we playing? A dumpster fire. So it's like cinematics can be very misleading.
Well, at least with Antara, there was gameplay in the trailer.
Okay, yeah,
That's what. Yeah.
didn't seem like much because this was their reveal trailer, and
Yeah, but like there is a lot of gameplay in there. Like you can actually tell when it's gameplay versus a cinematic, and it just looks like another Dark Souls clone. But let's be honest here, they sell.
Yeah,
They sell. The
but
industry
this is a free to
loves them.
play, so like, let's see what kind of content we're going to get. And usually, if it's a free to play and it's like a Souls game, like I'm sure it's going to be loaded with microtransactions.
Yeah.
Has to. Like otherwise, there's no point in making it free to play.
Where's the money?
Right. Then we got moved into a so they announced that there's going to be games for the PSVR 2, right? There were two games at the showcase for the PSVR 2. First was Skydance's Behemoth trailer, which a lot of people are calling it like a knockoff to fuck Roger, what was that MetaQuest game that did really good? Like I got a 10 out of 10. It was like an RPG. I'll come back to it here, but that's what they were comparing it to. I have to circle back on that. But the other one we got was the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners development announced a new VR. Oh, that was that one, the Behemoth. But then we got Alien Rogue Incursions, which looked cool, but it's like nothing that we haven't done before in an Alien game. But it's coming into the VR. But it seems like collectively the gaming industry is like, why did PlayStation even create the PSVR 2? Because they have yet to really support it. They had one game come out. They had the Horizon game, but ever since then, like they have no first party games for this.
Honestly, yeah. Like the thing with the PSVR 2, like it should have gotten PC support to be competitive in the VR market, because like if a VR set can't be played with your computer, there is no point in making the VR. Like it's not worth it. The industry, for somebody to get into this niche market, let's be honest, it's super fucking niche. They're going to have money. And if they have money, they probably have a gaming PC, and they're probably going to want to be able to play it with all their other VR titles that aren't available on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like they're making money. Don't get me wrong, but like this is a flop. This is one of the biggest hardware flops. We talked about how they had to pause production months ago because they literally are still going through the backlog that is over half of the production line they had.
Yeah. It was completely ridiculous. Like you said, you hit it right on the head. Like the fact that this wasn't compatible with a PC was crazy, which apparently that feature's coming soon. But even then, it's like you're almost like a
Soon,
day
yeah.
late. You're like a day late and $1 short. Like no doubt about it. And like don't get me wrong, like this VR headset apparently like hardware wise was really good. It was a really great VR headset, but when there's no software to play on it, why even get it? Why even play it?
Exactly.
Just didn't make any sense. And then obviously the fact that we always talk about is you had to have a PS5 to play it. So now you're $1,000 in without even a TV yet, and to do what? To play nothing. So moving on, Marvel Rivals. This is where we got the PS5, aka the console announcement with the closed beta coming for July, and you can apply for that soon. Then we got a new trailer for the Until Dawn remake or remaster or whatever the hell it's called that nobody really asked for. It's coming to the PC and the PS5 sometime this fall. We couldn't even get a release date for that for the fall time, and we're in June, so that was a big head scratcher that everyone had. And funny enough, Roger, you were talking about Path of Exile earlier, but
Path of Exile 2 is
got its
coming to release early access late 2024.
Yeah, and this is coming to console as well. Both consoles, PlayStation and Xbox as
Path of
well.
Exile, I think, has already been on console for PlayStation. Like it was one of those things that really, I think, yeah, because I could have sworn the original Path of Exile has been on PlayStation.
Well, this is Path of Exile 2 has been out for
I'm aware
on PC, but this is the first time it's coming to the PS5.
Yeah. So like Path of Exile itself though is on PlayStation. It's been on PlayStation. Let's see here since 2019. So that's what I was saying. Like PoE has been on PlayStation. This is just Path of Exile 2 when it launches will be day 1 early access as well on PlayStation, which I think needs to be there because at this point we're kind of in a spot where Path of Exile now has to compete with an actual competitor. Diablo has re-entered the arena, broken and bruised, but ready to fight.
Yeah. Next up
now
on the
big news.
Next up on the PlayStation State of Play was Silent Hill 2. It got its official release date, and I agree with everyone that I've been listening to. Like, we can't figure out what is wrong with this game, but the game just does not look good. Like fidelity wise, the gameplay wise, like people have been making fun of like the hair design. Like the game looks like it still has like PS2 hair style, but like it's a PS5 game. So it's like, what is really going on here? And it's coming from like obviously the developer Bloober team, which made like the recent game The Medium on the Xbox, that eventually came to PlayStation as well. And like their games just haven't really been hitting the mark at all. It seems like they're just not ready for that next level, next generation experience.
All the hair money went to the decision makers to put third parties right next to your first party games.
Yeah, pretty much. But you do get Silent Hill 2 on October 8th, so perfect time. Spooky game, spooky season. Have fun.
So Vic will not be playing that.
Yeah, because I can't play during the day, so I can't.
Absolutely not. Nope. Can't keep the curtains open.
But big. This might be another highlight of the showcase. Here was Monster Hunter Wilds got official gameplay trailer, and it looked good. That's actually what triggered my question in the Lunacy Arts Discord chat. I was like, do I play Monster Hunter? Is it worth playing a Monster Hunter game?
Do you want to grind? Do you
Maybe.
like grinding?
Maybe.
If you like grinding and fighting this and hack it, like the thing
I
is,
do it in Call of Duty. I grind every day and try to level up.
You like
the thing is like
killing the same things over and over again.
Well, and not only that, the same one thing, like not multiple instances of that thing, but that one monster where you fight it for like 30 minutes, then maybe the game is for you. but like be aware that this is a Japanese game, and it is definitely going to be one of those games where you're going to be putting in time and time to just do the
Mhm.
same thing.
Yeah.
Be prepared. It's
Oh, I'm for it. I told you next year. I
it's a
don't care how long it
slog.
takes for me to play games. Like I want to play games to enjoy the games.
And like Monster Hunter isn't a game you play to beat. It's an MMO style game. Like you
Yeah.
play it to keep doing more.
Yeah. So we'll see. And this is Capcom. Said that we're gonna see more Monster Hunter Wilds in the upcoming showcases. But to round out the show, Team Asobi did unveil the new Astrobot game, and this is like a new full-fledged game because the last game was the Astrobot Astro Playroom, which came pre-installed on everybody's PS5. And this one actually looks pretty cool. Like this one has really excited. Like this looks like a video game that reminds me of what a video game is. Like it's that classic platformer, but it's really cool because there's going to be over 130 cameos from across all of PlayStation's titles that they've ever had. So I'm really curious to see like in the trailer, like you got to see like the guy wearing like the Nathan Drake costume with the Nathan Drake gun, um, and they're like there's God of War, there's Papa Rappa the rapper, like there's a lot of stuff going on in this game. There's like 8 galaxies and like 80 levels to get to. So it's like the biggest question mark is this game going to be a full fledged $70 game, or do they release this as a $30 or $40 game? Does this come to the PS Plus like subscription day and date? Like we don't know any of these details yet. You guys
And to
have
be
insight?
honest, this game is very much to me like a when I saw this, I definitely thought to myself for a minute, man, this looks like, I don't know, Mario, like Mario
Mm-hmm.
Odyssey, the thing that people want to play, the things that do so fucking well. Like at the end of the day, I don't get why where developers just can't see this and go, this is what people want.
Yeah. So I think this game's going to sell really well. I'm just curious to see those questions that I do
Hmm.
impose. Like, what's the price tag? Does it come to the subscription service day and date? Any thoughts on that, Scott?
I just think we're spending way too much time on PlayStation.
well,
Agreed.
well, lucky enough that is all of the PlayStation news that we do got this week, Scott. I know you're ready to talk about one of your one of your favorite games from last year.
I I think the best thing that PlayStation had right now that a lot of us didn't was the haunted Hogsmeade quest in Hogwarts Legacy. But on June 6th, fans of Hogwarts Legacy will be able to look forward to the big summer update coming out on June 6th, which will include the haunted Hogsmeade quest. It's going to be coming to all platforms. It will also include photo mode, a talent points reset, and some new in-game items, cosmetic and or otherwise. While they don't have a lot of DLC planned, this really is going to be the big update for a while.
Yeah, that sucks. I guess we're just waiting around for Hogwarts
We're
Legacy
just
2.
gonna sit here, yeah, just sitting here with our twiddling our thumbs, just changing our jackets, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. It reminds me of the Star Wars Jedi games. Like, there's no DLC, but they'll release like new cosmetics for the game
Yeah,
until the next Jedi game comes out. Yeah, I understand.
100%.
All right, Roger. We'd like to talk about Square Enix and another update from them.
God damn, dude. Square Enix, man. The only thing that kept PlayStation afloat for years has decided that they're going to remake Dragon Quest 3 after we've just had a recent remake for Dragon Quest that did super well on Game Pass, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake was announced to be coming to Xbox like day and date, first time ever. Like Xbox is actually now going to see some of these classic games that like have been exclusively in the Japanese realm actually start coming to them right away because like why not?
Right. This just continues like what we've been covering over the past few weeks with the announcement that Square Enix wants to bring basically their entire library to multi-platform now, as opposed to being stuck on one or two. And this just continues it. Last week we got the announcement that Kingdom Hearts was finally coming to PC, and now we're finally get the Dragon Quest 3 remake coming to Xbox for the first time. So shout out to that. But that is all the gaming news that we have for you guys this week. But let's go ahead and move on to the game show predictions. There are 4 showcases that I kind of wanted to go over. These are the 4 big ones that I'm interested in the most. There are a bunch of other ones happening over the next week or two. But kicking off with Summer Games Fest, this is a Jeff Keighley show, so we could see anything and everything there. There's like I think he's up to like 60 or 70 developers have been announced that are going to be at the showcase. But I'm gonna kick it to you, Scott. What is one realistic prediction that we could see at the Summer Games Fest?
Oh, realistic?
Yeah, I'll let you give an outlandish one later.
All right. So, Marvel Spider-Man 2, that's got to be a DLC we see.
Okay.
It has to happen. There's a bunch of the new titles coming out, or I think realistically, we're gonna see more Fable. I could see that happening. Maybe a new Forza title.
That'd be lit.
I think that that's really gonna be the big ones. There's rumors surrounding a lot of them, so it really just kind of depends on. I mean, this is the time to announce it, right? I mean, the next time's gonna be right before holiday season.
Yeah.
So I could see, yeah, I could see this. I could see a Fable for sure. I could 100% see Spider-Man DLC. New Assassin's Creed. We're looking at.
Yeah, I think we'll see a trailer for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I could see. There's a lot of rumors around a Resident Evil. And I think that's really, other than my outlandish ones. That's
we'll circle back to your outlandish one.
Dragon Age. Dragon Age could probably be. We're gonna see some.
You're stealing all the good ones, man.
Dreadwolf, I think.
Yeah, Dreadwolf. Yep.
So.
Yeah, so
well, I think it's gonna be a huge. I think it's gonna be a big year for the Summer's Game Fest, just because there's a lot of anticipated games and a lot that have already either have been confirmed or have very serious rumors.
Yeah.
Surrounding them.
For sure. What about you, Roger? What kind of predictions you got for me?
So we saw a few years back that Dragon Quest was getting a new game, and it's been a few years since we last saw the Flaming Ground trailer. I think we're gonna finally see something about Dragon Quest because Square Enix announced that they're doing, Dragon Quest the remake, but I think we're gonna hear something about Dragon Quest 12.
That'd be actually pretty exciting. It would kind of make sense with all the recent remakes and
bringing
these games to other
They
platforms.
need some
Like
success, especially after the failures they've had recently.
Yeah.
Next, I think we're going to see the announcement for Metroid Prime 4 and the Switch 2. I think we're going to see some teasing of them together. Because I think they're waiting for Metroid Prime 4 until we have the Switch 2.
See, I was holding off Switch 2 until Nintendo Direct.
I think we're going to get some teasing maybe.
Yeah.
I like that prediction with the Switch 2 being announced on Jeff Keighley's show because a lot of companies, including Xbox, announced their new console at his showcase.
Microsoft is about to announce theirs in the next year.
Right.
And that Metroid matchup.
You imagine that launch lineup? That launch lineup might be crazy. Like you get Metroid Prime 4, and then you also get the new Pokemon game. Like you imagine having man. Nintendo could set themselves
Pokemon
up.
A to Z on the Switch. That'd be
like they could have a crazy launch lineup. Like that could be really exciting.
I think we're gonna see some more about GTA 6. I think we're gonna maybe see another flop of an NFT style game.
Probably.
And some people, if we look at the indie world here, Silk Song is something that got delayed for a while now.
Yeah,
I'm kind of seeing that sneak out here and be re-announced to re-hype the game.
Yeah, and coming out later this year. I think that would make sense.
Yeah, maybe something in the Mafia series.
I'm not going to have any predictions by the time it's my turn.
Go for it, man.
No, it's honestly great because I know you guys probably didn't put a lot of thought into a lot of these predictions, and you guys are coming up with some really solid ones that I know I've been following a lot lately. Like Scott,
he said, if your stupid asses who aren't paying
Well, all right.
attention on all this.
Here, I got one. I got one for you. We're gonna see Half-Life 3, okay?
No,
But
okay,
Nailed
this
it.
is
I didn't say. I
Microsoft.
did not say outlandish ones yet. Okay.
No. See, it's the Microsoft being interested, supposedly, that you wanted to try to get us to tinfoil hat about last week.
Oh yeah,
Microsoft maybe partners with Valve to do Half-Life 3.
that'd be crazy. But some other ones that I think that we could have that we could see there is the Iron Man AAA game that is in development. I think it finally gets its official reveal, an announcement of like what the name of the game's going to be. I think that we're going to get that. Apparently, we could see Bloober Team's next horror game, which I just talked about how poor that they've been doing, but I mean they're known for horror games, so I'd be curious to see what they do come up with. I think we're going to see an update to like Killing Floor 3 at the show, as well. And I've been seeing rumors about a Scarlet Nexus 2 could be announced, and that'd be a big time like JRPG. And not Scott, Jesus, Jeff Keighley likes to have a lot of diversity in his portfolio.
We look
There,
alike. I get it.
yeah, pretty much. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to see another update to the game Judas, which is being made by like the old school developers behind the Bioshock series. So there's definitely a lot to come out of this, and I definitely agree that if like the Summer Games Fest could be crazy if the Switch 2 gets announced and the new Xbox hardware is going to get announced as well, because I know it's not the next gen, but Xbox has said that there's going to be new hardware coming out this holiday season, and I'm really curious to see what it is. Like, is it the new Elite Series 3 controller? Is it the new handheld Xbox that we could be getting? Like, what
Well,
are
they
we
did
getting?
already put out that one controller just recently, like last week, I think there was a new controller. So I would be surprised if it's another controller still, unless
Mhm.
they're just re-advertising the one that they had spoken about last week.
Right. Well, I think that was the adaptive controller, the new like accessibility
Uh,
one.
I'm not sure if it was the accessibility one or
All
not.
right,
Maybe.
I got you here.
Anyway,
I got you here, guys, with another prediction.
Okay, Roger's digging deep right now on Google.
All right. No. So this was me just thinking. So recently the Sims, like, so we know that the
Mm,
Sims is a huge game. It's an untapped market that not many other people are getting into. There is one competitor on the horizon. So we saw City Skylines 2 come out this year and flop. This
yeah.
year or last year, end of last year, I can't remember. But City Skylines 2 dropped and it flopped. So I think Paradox Interactive is trying to take a step back for a
Mhm.
moment, and that's why they delayed the game. But I think we're gonna see Life by You, some sort of discussion about it, or at least a trailer for it,
Yeah.
to hype up the Sims players out there. Try to tap this market that is currently going untapped and milked by one company.
Right. It's definitely a monopoly, which is
Hmm.
crazy.
And I
Um,
saw some crazy stat about how much this game makes in, and how many people have it installed, and how many plays it gets on Steam alone each year.
right. So, just a couple more for the Summer Game Fest before we move on to the next showcase that I got for you here is specifically from 2K Games. They did announce that the reveal of a next iteration. This is a quote. The next iteration of in one of 2K's biggest and most beloved franchises will be showcased here, and a lot of people are speculating whether it could be that new Mafia game that you were talking about, or if it could be the new a new Bioshock game because they still own that franchise. I think that'd be really big. But also they recently acquired like Gearbox, so we could get new Borderlands game. We could get Tiny Tina's Wonderlands 2, something in that Borderlands universe, even if it's a completely another new spinoff as well. Especially because like they've got the Borderlands movie coming out right around the corner. Like they could build all of this out all at the same time, and it goes hand in hand. So
yeah, that makes sense. They could really piggyback off of the Borderlands release, the purchasing of Gearbox, and get something out there for that.
yeah. And last up here, Amazon Games, Roger. We talked about them last week because they opened up a new studio, but one of the other studios that they've already had was in the works of the Tomb Raider game, their new Tomb Raider game. I think we
Mhm.
finally see like some kind of cinematic trailer of the future of Laura Croft. But those are
See that?
my my predictions though for that. But let's go ahead and move on to the next showcase. The one that obviously that I'm probably the most excited for is obviously Xbox because I feel like this could be the most important showcase, the most pivotal moment in Xbox's history because of everything that they've been going through, purchasing of Activision Blizzard, the issues that they've been dealing with the leadership and closing those studios and then opening a new studio and then like Black Ops 6 coming to Game Pass day one. Like there's a lot of talk around Xbox of like what is going on here. So like this is really important. And some I don't want to see all the predictions, so I'm gonna say just a couple and then I'll let you guys rattle off a couple as well. But I do think the show gets closed out with Gears of War, whether it's the Marcus Phoenix collection that is rumored, or the just a teaser of Gears of War 6, because we have not had a Gears of War since the previous generation. I mean, the Series X console launched with like the Hive Busters DLC, which is like one of the best looking, excuse me, one of the best DLCs ever made. And but it's like Coalition, the developers behind Gears, have been so busy helping other developers make their game in Unreal Engine. Like it's time to let them, the pros, come out with their next iteration of Unreal Engine 5 game because it's time. Like we need that next iteration of Gears. Gears is a huge major pillar of Xbox and is very much needed. But what about you, Roger? Any predictions out of Xbox? Because I could go on and on. I have a long list.
They have a huge catalog, so there's a lot of stuff. Honestly, I there's so much that we're going to see.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin for them. We're gonna see more about World of Warcraft,
I think
since
so, yeah.
they're now ramping up their release catalog. Maybe we see a release of World of Warcraft as part of a part of your subscription for Game Pass.
That could be huge.
Like we're now seeing Call of Duty day one. I, honestly, I think honestly we're gonna see something more about Activision Blizzard, their catalog, maybe them start to dig into the catalog and release games or start to work on games from that catalog.
Yeah, definitely agree. What about you, Scott? Any predictions for the Xbox? I know you named a couple, like Forza Horizon, being a Summer Games Fest, but I think
Yeah, it really just depends on where they get announced, or if they're just kind of follow up and like dual announcements. Like the Forza could show up in that, and it could show up in the Xbox Summer Showcase. I think Roger's really on point here, with some of the Activision announcements that we might see. I think World of Warcraft would be a big one, just because, like you said, we're seeing Call of Duty day one. So now, while they're doing that, they could also start putting in some just real money printers
yeah,
into there. So it really just, I think that makes a decent amount of sense.
hmm
So it really just, aside from what I've said, I'm not sure what else I could really add to that.
gotcha.
So
As long as it's not a fucking Gears of War game, I don't care.
See, that's great. You must have missed it because I think that's such.
No,
an
that's the
important-
reason I said it. That's the
yeah,
reason I
but
said
see,
it.
I
I
feel
was
like it's
like,
such an
everybody-
important game that they make sure
No,
is there.
Yeah, I think that could be something that they might just kick in and just kind of give us a little teaser for.
Just
kinda get
tease Gear
everybody-
6. Just tease
Yeah,
it. That's all we need.
It's just, I could see
think
some of that. Once again, I'm gonna hit Fable again really fucking hard.
yeah.
Because we just haven't seen enough of it, I would
No.
say. Yeah, it's-
With their single player franchises, I think they're gonna start to really try to tap into them again more,
Mhm.
because I think the thing we're missing out on their single player franchises is like they're starting to understand, like Microsoft is understanding better than the rest of the industry. Don't get me wrong, they still milk us like fucking cows,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like they still at least are trying to gear the industry, like gear their games towards what the industry wants.
Right.
And I think one of the things we're going to see is maybe the announcement of the next Fallout, like, and it may
Mhm.
be 6 to 8 years away,
I
but
did-
they announced the next Fallout. They just had the TV show succeed. We know we're going to get another season of the TV show because of how successful it was. But like, what happens next? They release the next season of the TV show. Where do we go for the next game? Do we go to the past because we want to try to tie it into the TV show? Do we go somewhere that like we really build, like, do we start looking at like the fall of like the town itself? Do we see the fall of the original California Republic start before it became what it is now?
Mhm.
Like, do we start tapping into some of this history that is a lot of times just lore in the series, but not actually like jumped into? Because like between Fallout 2 and Fallout, where we are now, 3, Vegas, 4,
Mhm.
like there's this part where like the TV show fits in there, because the town rises up in Fallout 1 and 2, and then like you go to the town in both games and it's actually growing, and then Fallout the TV show is after the town. This town has now been the centerfold of 3 major iterations of the Fallout series now. So I think we're gonna see maybe something around that to tie into the show, to build hype, to try and immerse every audience member.
Mhm. So
I
I
agree. Have we made mention of State of Decay, Avowed, or Diablo 4
no, but
for this
no, that's how I was going to dive in here because I actually
or
did.
Starfield?
No, Starfield is definitely going to be there. Has to be there
Yeah,
because of
it
the
has to.
the Shattered Space DLC. But so I did a the Chilling Chronicles episode on this Xbox showcase of what should happen, expectations on unrealistic stuff. So like what I basically can presume is going to be there is Avowed has to be there because it's coming out this year and we don't have a release date. It has to be there at the show with a release date. We also have Indiana Jones: The Great Circle, which is coming out this year. We do not have a release date. It
Mm,
has to be at the
love
show.
that one.
We have Ara History Untold, which is coming out this year. We do not have a release date. It has to be there at the show. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 does not have a release date. Has to be at the show. And then Call of Duty 2024, I think, which is Black Ops 6, gets a new trailer of sorts, but we know that it's the showcase that happens directly after Xbox, but it's going to be at both. That has to be there.
Do
Starfield
we?
Shatter Space DLC has to be there because it was slated for this year. We have to see a DLC, and I like they have a perfect lineup of what could happen. And someone kind of put together like that's big. It was deep into the Xbox. Um, like he has people behind the scenes, and he basically said that August, we're going to see the Marcus Phoenix collection, and then we could see Avowed, and then we could see Call of Duty, and then in November we're going to see like Ara History Untold with Flight Sim, and then like we could see Indiana Jones in December. Like each month is going to have a massive game coming out, and they're obviously all going to be Game Pass day one. But what were you going to say, Scott?
Do we have dibs on what game they're going to kind of, I would call it, a co-release with their new hardware? Like a game that could really, really push their new hardware. My money's on Flight Sim. If they were
Well,
going to push something, saying like on their new hardware, if anything, if they have any upgrades, anything like that, like
I don't think so.
Flight Sim, no.
Flight Sim, the one that's out now, came out in 2020, which
Well, the
launched
next
the one that
isn't
came
there
out
an
with the
update?
system. So 2024 is the new Flight Sim game, and that comes out this year. I doubt they're because the next Xbox and the next generation is supposed to be in 2026. I doubt that they turn around with another Flight Sim in 2 years. It just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. But the games that are supposed to launch with the console is obviously Call of Duty 2026. It has to be Gears. I would say it would be Gear 6. A new Forza game, like their lineup could be insane because a lot of these other games, right, that they've already talked about. Fable. When does Fable come out? We don't know. But Roger, you touched on Fallout. Fallout is in such a interesting spot because it's put back in the front of everybody's eyes. It's been dormant for so long. The TV show has done it in numbers. Obviously, we're seeing it in the games that are out now. Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 are seeing astronomical increase in playability. Our players playing the game, you can't wait 6 to 8 years to capitalize on that. You have to have a Fallout game now. So a lot of the rumors are pointing to we might be getting a Fallout 3 remake or remaster right around the corner, or New Vegas. On top of that, who do they pass the torch to? Because Bethesda can't be tied up every 8 years to make a game. They have Elder Scrolls 6, which is next, but they're still working on Starfield, then Fallout. We wouldn't see a Fallout for another 10 plus years easily.
Or they're just gonna move that in front, and then Skyrim's gonna get another 11-year fucking
No,
timeline.
I doubt it. But
Well,
the
Elder Scrolls
biggest the biggest
fucking
insight here is that they own Obsidian, who made New Vegas. Right? We know that Obsidian can make more than one game. They have the Outer Worlds 2 in the works. They could easily be working on New Vegas 2 or whatever new game. Like, plus they have a plethora of studios. They have all these Activision Blizzard studios that are great with FPS games. Give them the Fallout IP.
What
Let
other
them-
Yeah, but
game?
I don't want to give them stuff because they have to close down all those studios.
Yeah, unfortunately. But that's why
What
they closed the
other-
studios down, remember? So they could focus on these mainstay IPs.
Hmm.
There was another game, not very well known, that Obsidian made. I think it was a Star Wars game. Knights of the Old Republic 2. Are we holding outlandish ones till the end?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I forgot about those.
New hardware announced.
Um,
Knights of the Old Republic.
Obsidian made Outer Worlds, Outer Worlds 2, Avowed, Pentiment, Grounded.
That was
Pillars
the
of
joke about
Eternity.
Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Okay. Oh no, they actually did. They helped out with Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords. Yeah, so they definitely helped out. And Alpha Protocol, which I actually just posted that game on our social media the other day because it just came out like 10 years ago, or however long it's been. But some other things that we could see that I got here on my list is Forza Horizon 6. I do think that I'm seeing rumors that it could come out this year because they know that Motorsport didn't do the greatest. Like it was a solid game, but it didn't do what the Horizon series does. And it's time. They release a new one like every 3 or 4 years, and it's in that time frame now. And I'm ready for it. I'm done playing Forza Horizon 5 because I did everything in the game. Stalker 2 is supposed to be coming out this year in September. I think we see another trailer for them. The other indie develop being replaced could be there as well. We do not have a release date for that. Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 could be getting updates at the showcase. But I also threw into this talking point is like they usually do an extended showcase. So like they have their main showcase on this day. And like a day or two later, they do that extended showcase where they talk about other games and give them quick updates. So I'm like, Xbox has so much that they could be talking about. A new Halo. What's next for Halo? Because we don't know what's next for Halo. The Everwild, the new game from Rare Studios. What's up with that game? Elder Scrolls 6. Are there any updates for that?
Never.
Perfect Dark. They announced that a couple years ago. What's going on with that game? Scott, you mentioned it. State of Decay 3. What is going on with that game? We haven't seen any updates from that. Arc 2, no updates from that. The recently announced Clockwork Revolution, South of Midnight, Outer Worlds 2. Like, there is so many games that Xbox has announced that we have no idea what's going on with them.
Anyway, those are all of our predictions. Everything we've announced, we
It's
are
right there.
predicting.
It's right
You've
there.
heard it here first, folks.
But yeah. Before we move on to the next game show, what are some outlandish ones from either the Summer Games Fest or the Xbox One? Starting with you, Scott.
Elder Scrolls 6 and KOTOR 3 Shadow Drop. From Obsidian, used to showcase the new Xbox hardware coming out in 2026. Or Gears of War 3 with the new hardware. That's a given.
What about you, Roger?
The new Gears of War with a fucking Xbox hardware drop.
Roger, I see you
Dark
zoning out
Souls
over
4.
there. So what's going on?
Dark Souls 4. That's what we're going
That
for.
would be crazy. Wouldn't it be crazy if we get a Dark Souls 4 before we get Bloodborne 2 or Bloodborne remake? Like I feel
No.
like Bloodborne has been so
No,
neglected.
not really.
It's been such a neglected Souls
Sorry,
game.
I change it. I changed my answer. Bloodborne 2. That's my outlandish one.
Yeah, at this point. I really don't know any outlandish ones because I've been following them, but oh man, what could we get? What could we get? I don't even know. I'm gonna come back to
KOTOR 3 from Obsidian.
it.
Just saying.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next showcase here, which was Ubisoft Forward. I'm just going to just say one. We're seeing Star Wars Outlaws there, and that's a no-brainer because it's coming out this year. But what about you, Scott? What else do you think Ubisoft is going to talk about?
This is gonna be Star Wars heavy on that one for sure. We're clearly gonna see X Defiant.
Yeah.
That's a given. We've talked a little bit earlier about Assassin's Creed. With X Defiant, Rainbow Six,
Mm-hmm.
we could see some of that. Really, anything that's included in the X Defiant kind of like little factions, we could see something for. Skull and Bones. Some updates. There's been rumors about that because they need to do whatever the fuck they can. And that, I mean, really, they got to get their buckets and get the fucking water out of that boat. So other than that, I don't see the Ubisoft Forward being very interesting.
Yeah.
Other than Star Wars Outlaws, and X Defiant, which people are already playing,
Right.
and then Assassin's Creed.
Right. What about you, Roger? What does Ubisoft show up with?
a change jar asking people for fucking change.
An apology first and foremost for Skulls and Bones.
Wouldn't that be something? No, I mean, I think they confirmed Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
Shadows, and X Defiant will all be there at the showcase. Some other
Of
ones,
course they will. It's the only 3 things they have.
no,
Yeah.
Just Dance, their next Just Dance game.
Oh
is gonna
fuck!
be there.
Shit.
They still exist. They're still really like good games. A lot of people still play them. I think Just Dance is going to be there. What's next for the crew? Because obviously they have the Crew Motorfest. Are they going to move on to the next game, or is there a big new expansion to that game? So we might see that. I do think we're going to see a Skull and Bones update. That makes sense because we haven't really seen a lot out of it, and there's no way that they force this game to be released 8 years later, but not have any content after it. That just doesn't make sense. You already wasted the money. You might as well continue to try and make something back.
I mean, unless they dropped it just to get it the fuck off their plate, so they can
I
go actually
guess.
do other things.
And I'm
That
wondering
next
if we finally see the Splinter Cell remake or the next game. That'd be my big time one.
I think
And-
we're gonna see something about
That's the other
I
X
think we're-
Defiant one.
I think about Rainbow Six Siege. I think there's going to be some information about that because I believe I remember seeing something about them adding something to the game recently that like is going to destroy it. The
Yep.
community's super pissed about. I can't remember what it was
well,
now.
I recap you. Rainbow Six had a new update, like showcased themselves. It was like a 30-minute show talking about the new
Yeah.
maps, new characters are coming, but they're releasing a like a monthly subscription for Rainbow Six.
That's
So
thank
it's like
you.
it's like $10 a month, but like you get the premium battle pass and you get like extra cosmetics, like legendary one. But if you stay subscribed for like a certain amount of months, like you get like a extra thing as well. So
Yeah.
it's like the core fan base is like, why are you doing this? But like
Yeah,
Fortnite does this and it works. So like they're chasing that bag again. I think.
they're chasing the high, my friend.
Yeah. Rainbow Six, it would make sense. Like if you're already if you're a core player and you're instead of paying all like 15 times $45 for 3 battle passes, but this time now you get it for 30. Like it would make sense if you play the game long term. But if you're like a regular player that taps in once in a while, does not make sense for you. But we'll see. Ubisoft could be pretty interesting. I talked with the human. Like I think Ubisoft could be back. Like they've been rolling, man. Like there's like Assassin's Creed has been good. The Prince of Persia games have been good. If Star Wars Outlaws hits, that could be great. The new Assassin's Creed could be great. X Defiant, I think, has been rolling along pretty good. It's just, yeah, they had a really bad hiccup with Skull and Bones, but I feel like you said, Scott, they feel like they just had to drop it to get it off their plate, at least recruit some money back because they know that it was a bad game at that point.
Well, every time they went to go make it, they kept whiffing on like everything. Everyone else kept releasing a better game at the same time, and they're like, "Well, shit! Now they've done all this. Now we got to redo it."
Yeah, I think that was more of a. I think that what we're seeing with Skull and Bones is really kind of like we'll fix it in post production. Like release the fucking game, release it, get the hell out of here. We're done. Like everyone's been shitting on us for fucking 6.5 years about trying to get this game out. We've released it. It's hot dog shit. Now we can go back and we can take a specialized group and just kind of fix it, and hopefully go from there. But I really don't think outside of that, I don't think Ubisoft Forward is going to be very exciting at all. Maybe I'm really hopeful with what Roger said, new Splinter Cell, especially with X Defiant and all of the factions that we have there.
Because they're already in the game because the Echelon faction is in the game.
They're already there. So I'm saying if like people are playing X Defiant and aren't familiar with Splinter Cell or anything like that, like really X Defiant kind of opens up a lot of doors for a lot of other other franchises that are made as factions of that game.
The last Splinter Cell game we got was 2013.
Yeah, I think Splinter Cell will be a great one.
Yeah, I think it's time for
my boy Sam
espionage
Fisher about to
to
be coming
return.
back. Can't wait.
But moving on to the last showcase set, I just want to make some predictions for. We were kind of touching on it already, but it is the Nintendo Direct. Roger, what do you think we're going to see there?
I think we're going to see more official information about the Switch 2, like maybe some specifications they're aiming for. What we're going to be expecting like a catalog to release around the same time. So we're going to start to see, I think, the teasers for the next year because we're going to get the Switch in 2025. I know we're not getting it this year.
Yeah.
But that being said, they're going to want to hype it up a year in advance, not 4 months in advance. Because if they wait till next year's showcase, I think that's the worst time to do it because they want to release it holiday season next year. The consoles are typically coming out when Christmas is coming around.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a no-brainer marketing.
I don't know about next year though. I would venture to say they drop something this year. We've talked about the Switch 2 since what?
Well, no, they already put out a earnings call that they have delayed it to 2025. Like it's coming out next year regardless. It's just when.
No,
because Nintendo does their own thing. Like you would think they would release it in the holiday time, but they're like, we're gonna release it in March. Why? Yeah. Because
it's not holiday time and people aren't spending their money on Xboxes.
It's tax season,
Yeah, and with it coming out next year, they're gonna preview it now, I think, and the catalog that's gonna drop with it because you're gonna want that game that comes out with it. Like when we had the Switch, we had Mario Odyssey. Like, what's gonna be that flagship item? Are we gonna see Mario Odyssey 2 finally? Are we gonna finally see something else in the catalog that really sells Switches? Like, what is going to sell Switch 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it. Like, I already said, if they release Metroid Prime 4 with Pokemon Legends ZA or whatever the fuck it's called, they have it in the bag. Like, that's a no-brainer. And you imagine the bundles they can do, and then they can just print money. It's just that simple. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I think it's time for like a new like Mario Odyssey game. Like, we've been getting a plethora of recent Mario games. Like, it's been a lot of remakes. Like, we just had Paper Mario Thousand Door release.
And the thing is, with remakes, it allows them time to work on actual games.
Yeah, and obviously,
because a lot of this is just ports,
basically, from like the Wii U or the GameCube or whatever they were on, the DS. Like, a lot of the stuff kind of just works. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like, Switch has a pretty interesting lineup, but like Switch always, like, the Nintendo Directs are really interesting because you just never know what the fuck you're gonna get. You can make all the predictions in the world, but they're never fucking close. But maybe Splatoon 3 is going to be there with some more updates because it seems like that is their live service game. They're not really tapped into a lot of live service games, but that is their one that they try to continue updates. But I also would be curious to see like what's next for Mario Kart because obviously like the end of that long season pass that they had is over. So what's next? And we've had Mario Kart 8 for like 10 years because it came out on the Wii U or whatever it was on. It's like, did we get Mario Kart 9 or 10 or X, whatever it was when we were covering the leaks and rumors of that game? Like, did we finally see like a teaser for that and it launches alongside the Switch 2 as well?
I don't know because they just did the pass for Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart's the farthest thing, and we know for sure that like we're not going to see Smash because they've already announced they're done. Like the lead designer, like the lead producer for Smash said, "I'm done."
Which is sad. Like, I don't know why they like. I feel like they just didn't. I don't want to say this the wrong way,
They
but like I feel like
they
they just
casual game, and like recently they announced like they killed the Pro Tour. If we didn't talk about here, the Pro Tour for Smash is killed because they didn't want it to be associated with a competitive game, and I think it's also because they're trying to kill the active development of the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what if they really fuck us up and just drop an announcement for the new Switch with like a Luigi's Mansion 4?
Could be.
That'd be crazy. I mean, they've been remaking all the Luigi's Mansion games, so like they could be garnering like what's the attention with this franchise, and should we make a new one?
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Roger and say Metroid Prime though would be a flagship on that.
That was announced 8 years ago. It
Yep.
was announced to be on the Switch, and I think at this point, I had a friend who bought the Switch just to play that game, and then it never came out. So he literally just never played his Switch.
Like, we don't know when Metroid Prime 4
Legend has it,
Metroid Dread or whatever it was called.
Yeah, Legend has it. He's still standing out front of GameStop waiting for Metroid.
Where's the Prime?
What about another Fire Emblem game? Do we see a new one?
Yeah.
Is that going to be one of the new games for the lineup? That's what I'm saying. Like the Switch 2's potential lineup is insane.
We just had Fire Emblem a year and a half ago.
Was it Engage?
A year and a half ago we had the rings. We had Fire Emblem rings. I don't think we're gonna get anything else for a while.
I guess Fire Emblem was it Fire Emblem Engage was the last one that came out
Engage, there you
last
go.
year, January last year.
Engage about the rings.
Yeah. And what about like a Xenoverse, a new Xenoverse game?
That I could actually get behind.
Yeah. Or what is it? I might be calling through. What is it? The
Xenoblade?
Chronicles?
Xenoblade. So I think what you're thinking of. Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that one. I wonder if we see a new one of those because that one seems like it's a pretty popular game.
I thought that was what you just said. Yeah, no.
He did
What'd you
Xenoverse.
say?
He was
Xenoverse
confused
is
with
also-
Dragon Ball
You meant
Xenoverse.
to say, you meant to say Xenoblade
I get it, 'cause,
Chronicles. Yeah,
mean,
I knew what you were going for, and then you tried to say it again, and I was like, "Nani? What are you talking about?" Yeah, yeah. Honestly, Xenoblade. I think your three games that you're gonna see is gonna be either a new Mario Odyssey style game, so a Mario platformer. You're gonna see a new Xenoblade, or you're gonna see a new Metroid, or you're gonna see multiple of them, and that's what they're gonna use to announce the Switch 2.
What about something
The
off of
Switch Pro.
what about
Yeah.
something out of the Legend of Zelda universe? Not necessarily any sort of Tears of the
I don't
Kingdom.
think we're
or
gonna
anything
see
like that, but
anything
something
in
separately, maybe
in
like a Wind Waker remake or something.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of that, a lot of talks behind the Wind
Yeah.
Waker
Yeah.
remake or some like even if it's just a port
Yeah.
of some sort, like that
Ocarina
could
of
be
Time.
possible.
Come on.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get anything from Legend of Zelda right away. I think they've cooked and they're waiting.
Yeah,
They're still trying to swim out of the money they made
Uh,
with Tears of the Kingdom.
that could potentially be their 2026 game, and 2026 could potentially be like another crazy year for gaming.
I mean, every year after this point is gonna be crazy. You say this, but it's like it's
never
not
ending.
gonna stop.
Yeah, it's never
Games
ending at this
aren't
point.
gonna. We're not gonna get less games. Like it's always gonna be more and more every year because the industry is the largest entertainment industry.
Any outlandish ones for Nintendo?
Elder Scrolls 6.
Skip it 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're just gonna not bring any of them to the Switch. We're gonna bring the biggest and the baddest.
Unless they like somehow shit a new Legend of Zelda a la Tears of the Kingdom, or they somehow shit a new Switch for this season's holidays. I don't think
Yeah.
anything out
Did
of normal. Like we're steady. Here's cruising altitude. Here's our new shit. This is what it's gonna be, and just kind of. I don't think anything crazy or outlandish.
did Breath of the Wild get any DLC?
Yeah, it had the Champions DLC. There could be a Tears of the Kingdom
That-
DLC.
That's what I was wondering. Like, it
Yeah.
could be outlandish. I don't see it
Yeah.
happening, but like maybe that's what
I
they
wouldn't
announced.
call that outlandish. I would
Just
call that a
realistic.
surprise, but nothing outlandish.
Yeah, maybe a new Digimon game coming to the Switch platform. I know it's pretty outlandish. We haven't seen Digimon like in the mainstream, other than like I guess the card game there for a while.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Digimon just
Forbidden
their
Memories.
new card game
a good
is taking off, so we could see maybe Digimon being revitalized by
Give me a
it.
new Digimon World game, like either like 2, 3, or 4. Like those were like some of my favorite memories playing the Digimon games. Because a lot of the Digimon games that we've been getting have just been pretty god awful.
I do have one outlandish one, and that's just going to be an Ocarina of Time remake.
We've
like-
already had it too.
But like a real like over for the Switch, designed specifically for the
Mhm.
Switch, not like a here's a half-assed like pseudo remake just available to play on this. I mean like a full-on fucking remake.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's time to end out this episode. Any last thoughts on any of the upcoming showcases at all, guys? I know I'm excited. Just it just
Wait and
sucks that
see.
it is a wait and see.
New Switch available this season.
Unfortunately, there will be no episode next week and no live coverage of any of the showcases because I will be getting married on Saturday, so it's going to be a really fun weekend. Shout out to that. So not going to be around this weekend, but I'm really curious to check it out. I'm gonna rewatch them, and hopefully, when we reconvene that week after, we can celebrate one, me getting married, but two, all of the new game announcements and new excitement around the gaming industry. I think it's going to be a really action-filled episode because I don't think we're going to see a lot of like basic news that we normally cover. Over the next week or so, it's going to be about these showcases.
100%.
But do want to shout out everyone who came through and checked us out live and making sure that we got the mic turned on because we missed like the first half of the episode without any fucking mic. So that's why you missed out on a big chunk of the podcast that you would normally catch. But,
What do you mean we? You got a mouse? in
Yeah,
your
I
pocket?
got it. I heard the whole
That'd be
thing.
fun. Yeah, you gotta.
But we do want to thank everyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But Roger, where can the community find you at?
Hey, same place that we are always talking. We're chatting over at the Lunacy Arts Discord.
And Scott, what about you?
As always, you can find me here most Sundays. But if you can't find me here, you can find me in Discord. If I'm not hanging out in the Lunacy Arts one, you can always find me over in mine at Scobie1's Cantina. Or if you want to just see what I'm up to in my personal life, you can get a hold of me on Instagram at Scobie1.
And of course, everyone, check me out at Twitter at Mr. _, where I have a lot of engaging posts and polls that you can engage with. I do post over on Threads as well. Xbox is X Never Space Chilling. If you want a game, party up, want to play some X Defiant, let me know. Face Brewbacher is there for any questions, concerns, or if you want to come on the show, slide in my DMs there. And I do stream over on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin', where I will be beginning my playthrough of Hellblade 2. It is Shoot to Win's Game Club Game of the Month, so I'm eager to dive into that game. Along with maybe I'll stream some X Defiant here and there, but only time will tell. But we do want to thank everyone again, and until next time, peace.
Restart podcast.